What is up? Welcome back. It is Sunday night. And you're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy. Today I'm solo. I don't know where Trigger is, and Brian is at work for the full night. I just want to say what's up. I hope everybody's having a good week. Hope everybody's weekend went really solid. I hope everybody's doing good. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on tonight, folks. We do got some really good talking points today. We'll be talking about, of course, the new Suicide Squad trailer that dropped for season 2. We're going to be, of course, talking about Arcane season 2 also, and Venom, the trailer for Venom, and the whole drop for the 3, and then the announcement of Null as the villain, Norman Reedus, who's going to be the actor. Also, we're going to be going into the idea of who Null is, how he kind of plays into the overarching story of the Marvel Universe with Venom and Spider-Man, because not only that, there was like a new deal done, and we're going to be talking about that also. So it's just little things that we're going to be covering today. I just want to say I'm grateful for those that are going to tune in. Hopefully it's entertaining and you guys really, really like it. I just want to ask how everybody's doing, if you're out there watching and stuff like that. I'm going to see if I can give a little share to everybody and stuff like that, and see if we can bring in people. Give me a minute real quick. I'm gonna see if I can share this real fast. Just see if we can bring in people, man. I mean, I'm going to be solo today, so the more people kind of makes me feel pretty good when I have people in here with me, so I don't feel as nervous. Yeah, I had an interesting week last week. I decided to take the weekend off. I didn't feel, I don't know, mentally, I just wasn't in it, man. Last week, I kind of feel like there was so much stuff that was thrown at me during the week that it kind of caught up with me really, really quick. And I wasn't feeling it last week. So this week I feel a lot better. Taking a week off to kind of like refresh and re-energize is something that really caught up with me. Rob, what's up, my dude? Says, I'm good. I hope you're doing good too. Mark, safe from the baby oil incident. Oh man. I'm guessing you're talking about good old Mr. P. Diddy, man. Finally got caught. I'm not really sure how it kind of goes with the idea of like how they're gonna convict him or anything like that. But yeah, I think that's crazy as hell. I mean, the P. Diddy situation has been crazy. Did you guys hear about the Justin Bieber allegations, like things that are going on with that? What do you guys think about that stuff? I thought that was fucking bonkers in my opinion. Yeah, apparently like Justin Bieber was like a part of, but then again, like Hollywood's a weird place from what we've all heard. We've all done our conspiracies and deep dives and all that stuff. So it's nothing too far fetched, but I want to say that Rob's talking about the baby oil incident, right? It's like, what did they find? How much was it? Like $10,000 or 10,000 bottles worth of fucking lube in his place or whatever. Isn't that what it was? So that's fucking crazy to me, dude. Hold on real quick. I'm going to do this real fast. Yeah, but apparently like, yeah, they found like a bunch of bottles of lube about this guy. So I thought that was extremely crazy that they ended up doing that. But then I'm not caught up on all that stuff. Like, I don't even know what the allegations were in the first place. Like, I thought it was just that they caught P Diddy like having relations with like other men and stuff like that? How did it end up being that it became like an illegal situation? Then he took off like on the run and stuff like that. Like that's what I was really really like confused with on the story. Um, let me get this real quick. Needs credits. I'm getting texts from people because they're worried because I'm by myself because no one's in. What did David just message me right now asking me? Uh, uh, oh, um, yeah. Apparently, it's the allegations were sex trafficking. Hey, what's up, Mike? Good to see you, my man. And abuse. Oh, okay, because so like it was a lot farther than what I assumed was going on because I'm not really like all cut up on that type of like situations. I know that people make a lot of memes about it and stuff like that, but like I mean it's just too crazy nowadays. So much baby oil. um so Mike says the allegations were sex trafficking, racketeering, and abuse. Damn. So they finally caught him. So now it's gonna be like I mean, I don't know like how you guys feel about it, but you're sexy. I'm gonna do my best, Brian. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna ask, but do you think like this is gonna be like a whole like the Epstein thing? Like we're gonna get a list of people that have all been associated with this guy and stuff? Because I mean, I like I said, like I'm not really up on this. I like nerd shit. I'm not really up on the whole like rock star lifestyles and stuff. I just know conspiracy theories and stuff. But like there has to be a bunch of people that have been associated with him, right? 100%. 100%. Cuz it's like do you think he's gonna snap? You think he's just gonna like he's gonna fib on everybody or whatever? You think he's gonna snitch? I mean, P Diddy does look like the snitching type, right? Like he doesn't look like they're gonna waterboard him and he's not gonna enjoy that shit real blitz or whatever. I know that man, who are some of the people that were involved with him? I know that what was the basketball player? The one that's real Kobe passed away. He's facing life. He's gonna snitch. You're like that LeBron James. There you go. I was just thinking about that. I just saw a video about that the other day, where he was like, "Oh, there's no other parties like a P Diddy party and all this stuff." Omar, what's up, Omar? He says it doesn't matter what you're into. This affects Hollywood as a whole industry. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, man. You think it's gonna be like is this it? Is this the thing that's going to break the camel's back when it comes to like Hollywood and the sex rings and the pedophile and the save the kids thing? Is this going to be the thing? Like one of the biggest names in rap? Michael Betancourt says, I believe this is another Epstein issue. Diddy's parties were dangerous. Things in the rumor mills before. I bet while a slew of shit comes out. Yeah, I guarantee it. It's crazy because do you remember like a couple, maybe even like a half a year ago, like Cat Williams came out like on a podcast and he blew like the shit off of a bunch of other stuff. And people were like, Cat Williams is crazy. He's off. He's done drugs and like all this stuff. And now it's kind of coming out, man. And yeah, the allegations for like the Justin Bieber situation, like you feel bad for that kid. I feel real bad for Justin Bieber, man. He seems like he's gone through a bunch of stuff. Like the same thing with like Usher. I think Usher is like a part of this in a way. Like, that was this year. Yeah, the Cat Williams podcast. It's super crazy that like I don't know. At first, there were so many people that kind of like discouraged the idea that Cat Williams things were kind of like a serious conversation to have, and then all of a sudden, like all this stuff popped off with like the P Diddy situation, and like now it's almost like a movie, right? Like, because of all the allegations that are coming up and a list of names of people that's already kind of casually been dropped with a bunch of like top stars in the industry, in the music industry that are on that list, like going from like Beyonce to like, I think like, I don't even know, man. There was like a bunch of them. I don't know if Rihanna was on it. Oh, I think I saw like Chris Brown's name on it. But like Chris Brown, like I've always not liked that dude ever since the Rihanna situation. Like I never cared for like the apology. I never cared for him for people to be like all stoked about him again. Like I remember there was like a whole ass movement where like just people were so excited to come back. Like lots of females, and I would have thought females would have like been against this dude for the things that he did. Yo, you think so? I'm just waiting for J-Lo's name to be dropped for beating a baby seal while lubed up with at a Diddy's party. What does that mean? A baby seal? I don't know. That just sounds like what the heck? That sounds like the craziest concept ever. But like, do you think J Lo? Because wouldn't that associate J Lo with like the Ben Affleck situation? People on TikTok are selling Diddy masks. That's fucking funny. TikTok's the wildest place on the planet. Wildest fucking place. What other things have you guys heard this week? Like in the sense of like oh, okay. So like, oh man, Ashton Kutcher. You know what? There's this guy, and I don't know his name, but he's like this kind of like prison reform dude. He's like, big beard, cap all the time. Who did he mention that I was kind of surprised with the other day? Paul Walker. You mentioned Paul Walker was like into or dating a minor not too long before his passing. And that also goes for so the Linkin Park, right? Linkin Park just recently released that they have a new singer, and the new singer, female, she sings well or whatever. I saw the video. I thought she was cool. Like right after I saw that she has a pretty like bad history. And one of the biggest things was like, she was a part of the 70s show's Danny's guy's trial. Like she supported him, was like really good friends. In fact, from what I heard is, she had even gone the day of the trial and was like being very aggressive towards the person that was against him in the like the Me Too movement or whatnot. So like the son of Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, and the wife of Chester Bennington has also come out and said that Linkin Park bringing in this person is almost like a slap in the face because of the works of Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell when they were coming out about the child pedophile rings. So they were kind of making a documentary trying to expose it and bring it out. And then Chris Cornell's sudden passing from the suicide. And then a year later, Chester Bennington in the same aspect of suicide, like for them to bring in a person who was best friends, or if not someone who kind of backed a known sex offender or a sex assault person, the Danny Masterson, I think his name was. You see, I'm just kind of off the top of my head. Like just for that, I think it's there is like a bad concept of thinking like, hey, this would be a great idea for us to bring this chick on with all this black tape on her stuff. But yeah, I feel like, oh man, guys, we're in what August, September 22nd, September, October. I think like the ending of October, like getting into November is going to be like the wildest stuff when it comes to like the P. Diddy situation. I think a lot of shit's going to pop off in the next month because it's already, I mean, we've only been a couple of days after his capture and things are already getting fucking crazy. Things are already getting super crazy. What else do we got going on? There was something. Have you guys seen Agatha Harkness and the Penguin? I myself haven't seen it. I was hoping Brian was going to be on the show today, but he didn't get to make it today because of work. But I know he had already seen 2 episodes. If you've seen the episodes of Agatha Harkness, put it in the comment section. I've been getting a lot of people saying that, it's actually pretty solid. Like the way that it's kind of like they've taken care of it. It's kind of like at the ending of like this weird part that Marvel has been kind of portraying to push like the message or whatever people call it. But it's kind of like on the end of that weird stuff and them going back to the status quo of the way they used to do it. But I heard it's not too bad. The first episode I heard was pretty witty and good. And the second episode kind of is a little long or dragged on, but it does expose the pieces that are used for the television show that's up. I myself am going to wait for episode 3. I feel that this is just my take on it. Marvel and Star Wars have a tendency to drop their best stuff and then hold back on their shit. And what I mean by that is like, if you go back to the Acolytes, like episode 3 exposes a lot of good stuff. But like by the next episode, like episode 4 was a little bit wonky. A lot of people didn't like it. So they stopped letting people get the early access into episode 4, only to episode 3. So like, I feel like this one coming up is the Agatha thing on episode 2. I feel like they're kind of like, they're not letting people watch episode 3 because I feel like it might kind of like fall off of the radar real quick. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in seeing what they're gonna do. So give me a minute real quick. I'm trying to get a hold of this. I'm doing things. It's because so I don't know if you guys know, but I kind of like I work for a software company on my phone, so I'm kind of like always on my phones now. So let me get this real fast. But yeah, if you have seen it, oh, Michael Betancourt says, yeah, I'm here for it. There's going to be some weird mythological stuff, and I'm psyched for the Agatha thing. Do you feel like okay? So let me ask you something real quick, and this is just for the comment section. Do you feel like a little bit weird, like on how like they're using a lot of like actual like situations in like the witchcraft scene like as a member, or do you feel comfortable with it? Because I know some people feel like it could be like I don't know, like the Ouija board situation where kind of like you allow bad juju into your house or whatnot. Do you feel like it's a little bit too much, or do you feel like it's okay? Hold on real quick, you guys talk amongst yourselves. um Server. Okay. Yeah, because I was noticing that they do have a lot of like Mike said they do have like an actual like an interesting amount of information that comes out where they have a lot of like the witchcraft stuff. I know like even in the credits there was like a scene where you could see like the font or something of the Ouija board, and I know like what is it called? The road. It's like the witch's road. Like that's actually based on like an actual thing. But like for one, I think I was talking to David about this earlier this week, and then into this week I was talking to Brian about it, where I was like, well, I'm like for the last couple of weeks, every time something comes out that I don't quite think I like, I just say I'm not the target audience. If you've seen the show, The Average Boys on TikTok, I've never used TikTok. That's funny. If you have seen Agatha 1 and 2, what do you guys think the audience is, or who it is that they're going for? Like, I would like to know, because I don't want to jump into the show and invest into it, and then me being in a be put in a situation like I did with the Alkalite, where I was like 4 episodes in, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. I really don't like. I don't feel like this is for me, and I don't feel like I'm going to understand it. Mike Betancourt says, well, that depends on faith. Most Christian cultures worry about letting evil in, and we look at scriptures, the idea that one person must live with conviction and you would be safe, right? You must live with conviction and you would be safe. You should believe in God and he will protect you. If you are truly believe, you're safe. Okay. Well, I mean, it's a good way to put it. That's kind of like the same concepts I have, right? Where it's like, I don't really like, it doesn't bother me to watch scary movies or anything like that, because I really don't like let it get to me in those kind of forms. But I do know like some people do freak out about it. But do you think it's kind of like an interesting thing on how, like to the ground, like two boots on the ground, with the idea of how real the practices that they're using in the show to demonstrate what this type of magics is, right? Because you look at Doctor Strange and it's very like sci-fi magic. It's very like, well, here's a book. We're not really explaining it, but like wiggle your hands in the air and you can create some magic or whatever. And then boom, you get like a circle in the air. The dude without any hands can make it. And it has like all of this, like almost like, well, like I said, it has like a very sci-fi vibe to it. But like this one is actually kind of like using like actual like ceremony or rituals that they do use in some type of witchcrafts. And I'm just thinking, like, do you think that's a little bit too much for like a Disney IP? Like, do you think that they should have kind of come at it more like the way it was with Doctor Strange? Or do you think that the traditional style, like floor level witchcraft kind of esque magic works in this format? So like that's my question, because it kind of like sometimes I feel it's like the Gargamel situation with the Smurfs back in the day, where as kids when we saw it we didn't really think much of it, but then as adults they're like, oh yeah, dude, that villain was really dancing in a circle, like in a dancing pentagram or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And there we go, sent. But yeah, like I said, I haven't seen it yet. I'm probably gonna jump into it by like next week, or maybe even like tonight or something. But yeah, it really hasn't picked me up. I kind of want to wait for the next episode and watch all three and then come to terms, because I think if I'm not mistaken, let me look it up real quick, that Agatha Harkness is Agatha All Along episodes. I think it's only like 6 episodes, isn't it? Oh my god, I can't spell for shit, dude. Agatha uh episode list. Jeez, I can't breathe, man. Jesus Christ. Overview. Let's see how many episodes it's supposed to be. 9 episodes, actually, as a matter of fact. Okay, cool. Like, so 3 episodes kind of might give me a little bit less than what I need, but 9 episodes is good. Michael Betancourt comes in and says we should consider the Doctor Strange magic seems sci-fi to us because it's first based in Eastern mythology mostly, and is second has its basis in comic book exaggeration. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was talking about. Agatha and the Coven seems scary because as a Hispanic and a Catholic Christian, people are taught to be afraid of it. Yeah, that's very true. I heard that there's like they do have their villains, which is the something Salem 7, right? It was like a small group of people that would come out in the Agatha Harkness books and some of the Wanda books. But it very like the Destruction Crew, or what's that crew? I can't even think of their names from the Spider-Man series. Very throwaway characters and stuff like that. But a lot of people said that in the second episode when they're being chased by him, that it's pretty scary, man. For it being a Disney film, what do you think about that? I believe I will hear that some people will say, don't let your kids watch it like Deadpool in the Wolverine movie, The Wrecking Crew. Yeah, Mike, you knew exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, because I mean, you have to remember that when the Disney, before Disney acquired Deadpool was pretty hardcore in the rated R factor. I understand the violence in the second and the third film because that's what the rated R situation was going to be, that they were going to show so much blood and a couple of cuss words because of Wolverine's character. But man, you go back to Deadpool 1 and he's getting fucking pegged in bed by his chick. And that's like, you would never see that on a Disney film. You would never see that. So yeah, that's super crazy. I haven't seen Agatha Harkness, but I've been hearing some casually good things about it, and I'm kind of interested in watching it. I'll probably watch it the next day. But in the same factor, have you guys been able to see the Penguin series on HBO? I know a lot of people don't buy into HBO or the HBO Legacy series or whatnot, but if you have seen the Penguin show, let me know in the comments section what you guys think, because I've heard some really great things about it, like really extremely good things. And yeah, it's a long time coming, right? Long time coming when it comes to being able to check it out and shit. Like I would really love to see the Penguin Crew. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring up a trailer for it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. The Penguin trailer. Yeah. Here we go. I'm gonna open it big. We're gonna watch it together, my guys. I don't really want to put audio. Yeah. I just want to kind of like play it as is. So, or you know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna try to see because I don't want to get in trouble. They're gonna do this to me, right? Oh, I could do this one. Yeah. So, yeah, this is the trailer. Set up. Of course, this is off of the Matt Reeves Batman story with what's his fucking face? Robert Patterson. It came out. Oh, you're gonna be watching later. Nice, dude. Michael Betancourt, of course, says, all right, I have to get back on the road. Coming back from Austin, visiting my son and heading to Harlingen. I'll check back later if I can. Definitely, Mike. Have a good trip. Be safe. And yo, congratulations on getting your book all done, man. So hopefully we can get you on the show. We can come and talk nerd with you and see what's up with your book. Really interested in hearing about it, bud. And Mark from the Chew and New podcast, what is up, my dude? Good to see you. Always a pleasure having you on. Congratulations covering the South Texas International Film Festival. What a great opportunity. We used to do that back in the day. I did it with the Sino Soul guys. And it's always a really fun time to sit down and talk to a lot of people that kind of pop through and stuff like that. But yeah, man, good to see you, my man. And then Robert says, saw Agatha. It was all right. Been watching the Mendes Brothers special, right? That's the documentary about the football players. right? I know, man. I bet you Brian's gonna go wild for that show. Being that it's about sports and of course like the docudramas and stuff like that. I heard it's pretty good. Robert, in the comment section, please let me know what you think and let us know. And Vince says, I might watch it later after fixing the Gambit suit. That's right. Vince is a big cosplay guy, so he is right now working on his Gambit outfit. And Robert says, no, it's the one about the brothers that killed his parents for money. It's on Netflix. Oh, okay. I thought that was based on that football player guy. Okay, well, cool, man. Well, I myself, you already know this. I'm not big on watching things based on serial killers or all that stuff. The Aaron Hernandez crazy. Yeah, the story is fucking crazy. I bet. It's real, but it's real weird. Like, I don't contrive to like series or shows or things like that kind of like not glorify, but they kind of like Hollywoodize a lot of like the actual murders, like the Jeffrey Dahmer show. Dude, I never fucking cared to watch it. And the reason why isn't because I don't want people to be educated in the situation. It's because that they do not do anything to give back to the people that were hurt in the situation. They just like ask for permission and all that stuff. And then they just tell them to fuck off and they glorify it and stuff. And I believe that there was like some protest from some of the people that were affected in the film of the Jeffrey Dahmer one, and they didn't really do anything to help them out or anything like that. So yeah, I'm not really big on it, man. I'm not really big at glorifying murderers and shit like that. So it's by the same people. I bet it is, dude. But yeah, if you have seen the Penguin show, I really want to know your guys' opinion on it. I haven't seen it. I'm super interested. The Robert Pattinson Batman movie, for what it was worth, it was okay, better than the Joker film by far, in the sense of like giving us format or structure into the DC universe. Not saying that Joker's movie was bad against it, because both of them did have their problems, but the Batman movie was dedicated to it being a Batman film, and then them kind of making it a darker, very Christopher Nolan-esque thing. It's just it dragged out more, but a lot of the things that Matt Reeves did for the film went pretty good. Or when you look at the Joker film, it was like this very artsy kind of like take on the concept of who the Joker was as an origin story, but they dumbed him down. He wasn't as chaotic as he is in the stories. Very easy to solve kind of guy. And I think it would have been a better film if they would have titled the movie Arthur and made us, the audience, have to figure out if he is the Joker or not. I think overall that would have been a greater overarching story. So, but of course we have the Joker Part 2 coming out, which is a musical, and Lady Gaga's in it, which is, I'm not even at all excited to see this. So I don't even know if I'm going to watch it, but yeah, I am interested in this because of the Batman series. I think Colin Farrell, who is in this chubby suit, did an extremely good job of Cobblepot's character. And very interesting stuff. So after the story of the Batman series, we know that Falcone has been killed off, and the seat for the Falcone home as being like the mob boss is up for grabs. And the Penguin was kind of one of these characters that was one of like his slime ball kind of like people, very big in the story. Now he's got like his opportunity to come up, and I don't know, guys, like I am really excited for this opportunity to see them do. I like this format where they have the main films, and then I guess it's like the Marvel universe, but Marvel is like so cookie cutter. There's no like, you can't look at it like a real like Godfather kind of film. Like you can't look at it like a masterpiece kind of stuff. And I feel like the Batman story has so much lore and world building that you could do so much with it. Yeah, I mean, you have so much. Like his rogues gallery is so loved. Like the Mr. Freeze, you can really build an entire HBO like series based on Arkham, like all the characters in the Arkham universe, and it would be fantastic. And you don't even like, maybe you could like sprinkle a little bit of like the Batman in it, or even like Bruce Wayne, of course, more of a character that would be implemented in these guys' lives. But the Batman would just kind of like, maybe at one time he's running down a street and it's super dark, and then all of a sudden you see like a flash of lightning and it pops a shadow of like Batman watching, and the Penguin turns around and he's never even there. Like, but you always have this like overshadowing idea that someone's always watching him. Like, oh man, dude, that just gets me super excited to think about, man. That it would be super dope. But yeah, this show, I think it dropped like a couple of days ago. So far, I believe it's just the first episode of the Penguin that's been coming out, and a lot of people are talking like it's a really, really great show. Really, really great show. And oh, that's Falcone's wife, I think. Oh, dude, that guy's coming out in it. Wow, that's pretty dope. Like it's really interesting from what I've heard. It's supposed to be like a crime boss fight. He's gonna build up two parts of the families that are gonna fight amongst each other for that seat at the table, and then he's gonna come in and snake in and come out and be this like overarching like one of the major villains of like another part of the city or whatever. So yeah, if you guys have seen it, let me know in the comment sections what you guys think of it. And yeah, like that's pretty wild, man. I love I really did dig the Batman movie in a way, even though it was kind of like you know, it was a little slow at some parts, but that's fine. A little slow ain't gonna kill nobody. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you guys have seen it. And same thing with Agatha Harkness. For the first part, we're gonna get into what we are gonna cover for the first day, which is of course trailers. We got, for me, the two trailers that caught my eye this past week, not past week, but you know, in the last couple of days, is the Squid Games, of course, season 2, and Arcane season 2. I want to watch them with you. I want to check them out and see what you guys think. Let me go ahead and set it up. Present screens, Windows. Here we go. We got the trailer for season 2. We're gonna go ahead and drop this off real quick so you guys can check it out, and you guys tell me what you think. Oh yeah. Oh, want to lower the volume because I don't know if the volume's up. So we got the main character. I forgot his name already because it's already been like what, fucking 5 years, 6 years since the first Squid Games. Which of course, not gonna shit on it. Squid Games season 1 was phenomenal. It was a phenom when it came to them making a show that was gonna test the times and all that stuff. So Squid Games season 1 was a dope ass show. But yeah, we have the first drop. Here is the main character who, of course, won the first season of Squid Games, who I forgot how much, but he won like 20 billion yen or 20 billion million dollars or whatever the fuck. I forgot what it was called, but I know he won a lot of money, and he was off. He colored his hair, I think, in the trailer. I don't know why, but that it was like main character syndrome or whatever. And yeah, he was gonna apparently go against the story and try to like expose it all, right? Of course, this guy, we don't know who he is. In the first season, we know it was the brother of the lieutenant that had gone missing, where he believed that he had died or whatnot, and then he ended up finding him. And then he gets shot, thrown off a cliff or whatever. But here he is. I don't know if it's him still. I know the mask is very prevalent, and that means that that person is the spokesperson for the games themselves, right? And he shows up at this guy's door, who, again, this guy was the winner of the first film. So the idea is he's coming to discuss that he probably wants him back, or at least to invest or be a part of the game, or to tell him what his next part is, because he'll probably be one of the people that would enjoy the game, right? So this guy's freaking out, of course. And of course, the beautiful Squid Game entrances, and of course, like the very artistic coloring and stuff like that that comes with the film, all the like their setups and their concepts when it comes to all their shots and everything like that looks super dope. Everything's real clean cut and very sharp in lines and stuff. And yeah, man, I cannot wait. This is gonna be wild. I don't understand the signification of this thing where he has the pistol. I want to say like maybe in the first season he was the one that would come out and speak for the people with the masks. And then, of course, because he has a square, which gives him a dignified shape out of all the other people. And he's got his own personal pistol. Okay. Squares. Okay. Moderators or whatever. The game. Okay. Will not stop. Yeah, of course. And you have the ball full of money and stuff like that. Them getting the thing ready. So there was the main character being escorted to a vehicle, right? There he is. I can't even pause it. It's so fast. Here he is. Being escorted into a limo, of course, because now he's like a billionaire or millionaire or whatever. And it's them, I think, of course, recruiting him and telling him that he does have to somewhat be a part of the game. If not, then they'll just kill everybody or whatever. And then here he is, 456. I believe that's significantly the last number that is the one that's for all the people that are in it or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm just noticing that a lot of people are looking directly at him. And I wonder if that means they know who he is. Like, don't you think that could be kind of interesting if let's say he did go on a campaign, this guy, to exploit the game of the Squid Games, and he was televised and he was pushed out there and all this stuff, and they were able to quell that. People thought he was like a conspiracy guy and that he was a person that was lying or whatever. And then for punishment against it, the company that runs the Squid Game ends up throwing him back into the games. But the thing is like now everybody knows that he's this person and that he exploited it, and they all know who he is because he talked about the game and they didn't believe it was real. And now they know it's real and they know they have to kill each other and they do all this stuff because of all the stuff that he had already kind of like, it's crazy to think about because it's interesting as to what they're going to do for the show. I'm just thinking out loud. The colors, the shapes. I wonder if the shapes are going to be something. Man, that is super crazy. What do you guys think, man? How do you guys feel about Squid Games and all that stuff? Are you guys kind of excited for the film? I'm excited because of the fact that, of course, Squid Games was such a phenomenal series when it popped off the original time. I thought it was really, really good. I thought the story of them having this very what was the movie that I know Van Damme had made a movie like that a while back where it was like he was a homeless dude and they sent him off and he had to survive and all this stuff. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but it's very much the same thing where like a bunch of rich people have come together to create a game that causes violence against people who really are in need of money. Either they're like a homeless situation or they're down on their luck, like in this one where they're like gamblers and stuff, and they're really in need of money, and murder is the game that they're playing. So like it's very interesting. So to see that Squid Games is coming back, it was so good in the first one. So to see that it's coming back in the second one looks just as exciting. Are you guys excited for it? What do you guys think is going to happen? Let me know in the comment section. The next video that I do want to check out is, of course, a near and dear series that I am so in love with. And that one is called Arcane. Arcane is based off of a very popular video game called League of Legends. And it follows two characters, Jinx and Vi, who are sisters, and that are main characters in the video game that a lot of people like to use and play and stuff like that. But the video game itself is a very popular sports when it comes to esports. It's a very competitive game. You know, they have huge tournaments, which is called Worlds. If you guys ever get a chance, you guys got to check them out. They're awesome, beautiful concerts, badass music, badass people there, and totally worth watching it. Like if you want to watch the concert like on a live, it's totally fucking worth it. But the series came out several years ago. It's a groundbreaking animated series. The art style that they used was fucking gorgeous. The soundtrack was amazing. The everybody involved in the series was such a fucking pro when it came to this. They were such chads that the series is well worth it. If you haven't seen it, make sure you guys go check out season 1, Arcane. But for now, I want to watch season 2 with you guys. I haven't seen it myself, so we're going to check that out real quick. Arcane season 3. I got to lower the audio because I don't want to get in trouble. But again, I am super stoked with the idea of them bringing out season 2 for Arcane. Let's check it out together, guys. If you get an opportunity, the effect that they use for the animation in this is it's so interesting because if I'm not mistaken, the technique that they're using is it's an overlay grease style pinning over 3-dimensional characters that are in a two-dimensional background. So in the very back, it would be like the way they did old cinema, where they have just a flat picture pushed into the background of a 3-dimensional scene, and then they add 3-dimensional pieces in front of it into the shot. Eventually, when you get to the foreground, which is right in front of your eyesight, everything is brought in. It's grease penciled, which gives it this like very oily texture, very oil brush texture, and then it's added with very detailed lines on top. So you'll see that there's very dark black lines, but then when you go to the skin intonations, it's very subtle oil style coloring. I love, man, this art is so dope, dude. On show, the first season is hyper. There's Jinx right there, hyper fucking amazing, and so beautiful when it comes to the art and all that stuff. Wow, man. Okay, okay. Owls, November 9th. Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. That's not even too far out, man. We are gonna be blessed by this so soon. If you haven't seen it, guys, highly recommended. Go check out Arcane season 1. Totally worth it. A good sit down, a good series. You can watch it with your friends, family, other nerds in the culture that love video games and stuff like that. Super fucking recommended, guys. And to know that it's coming out, something we don't want to miss out on. It's going to be amazing. Arcane season 2. I'm super excited. All the characters, all the art, everything you can need. It's going to be beautiful. Beautiful. Holy moly. That's crazy. Yeah, Squid Games 2, Arcane 2, two highly recommended series that are going to be coming out. I'm super excited. The trailers just dropped not too long ago. Wanted to be able to sit here and experience it with you guys. So happy that I got the opportunity to do that. You guys can see my early reactions and stuff like that. But now, onward to the main part of the conversation, which is something that we're going to sit down and talk about. Of course, I could actually hop on and do a little trailer of it, and I'll talk through it too. I'll do what I'm doing here. But we do have, let me see. Here we go. Oh yeah, I got to get through all the YouTube. Are you guys noticing that YouTube's popping off? If you don't have like the Pro, it's popping off on a bunch of advertisements nowadays. That's super nuts. But yeah, guys, we're going right into the next one. The last trailer we're going to be watching, and this is where we're going to have a lot of our discussion and stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys are still with me, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. But we are going to watch the trailer for what is it? Venom episode 3, The Last Dance. The trailer dropped a couple of weeks ago, and of course, Venom, has its ups and downs as a series. A lot of people don't really like there's some people that just don't like them, like, because the movies are not all that great, I guess you could say. But overall not too bad. They have episode movie 1 was Venom versus, I think, just another regular symbiote, which is just normal, right? And then episode 2 was, or movie 2 was Carnage, and that by far was bad. Woody Harrelson played Carnage, which wasn't my first recommendation for Cletus Cassidy. Carnage is such a beloved character in the Venom franchise. You would have assumed that Sony would have taken the time to take better care of it, which they didn't, and that was very, very disappointing. And now we're on to episode 3, or movie 3. Got the good old man Tom Hardy back. He's going to be playing Eddie Brock, which is a beloved character in the Venom universe. He is the Venom. Of course, the way that they've written him in this story is not as, or if not similar to the comic books. He's a lot more of like a jerk in the comics. He's not as much of a pushover as the way Tom Hardy plays him or whatever, but it's okay. In this story, you're going to see that they're going to introduce a character, which is going to be a major talking point that we're going to be talking about today, which does play some major implements in the future of the Marvel Universe. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out the trailer together. So I don't want to raise it up. I'm going to keep it kind of low, and I'll talk over The Last Dance. Of course, giving our Twilight Zone nods. There's something on the wing kind of aspect, but of course, like with the Venom comedy. That's so good. It's so bad. Holy crap. So of course, like, we have seen these type of creatures similar to the way it was in the first film. There was a lot of that shit going on in the first movie, but I think Venom's going to realize that there's a lot of stuff going on that's bad because you're going to see multiple characters, and he had such a hard time in the first film. So let's go ahead and just play it a little more. 100 years, baby. Columbia Pictures in association with Marvel. So this, we had seen this picture with the first trailer that was dropped earlier in the year. When they released the first trailer, it was very ambiguous as to what they were going to do and what the last dance even meant when it came to the Venom story. But there were speculations and there were, in my opinion, fears because of how they handled Carnage that the next character was going to be a big character in the series that had recently been introduced and kind of had been talked about in earlier comics, but not as much. But you're going to see an introduction of him in a while. But we speculated this and we called it right on the button that this was probably going to be the way that they were going to go with the Venom story. So I'm going to go ahead and put this tab up and yeah, let's get back to it. They found us. So this is the person that we were talking about that the Sony has ended up using for the villain. Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead and the Boondock Saints films is going to be playing this character. We had heard about Norman Reedus in conversations with Marvel 2-3 years ago when they were dropping information. Him playing a Ghost Rider character, right? Ghost Rider has been one of the characters that a lot of people have been kind of asking back for. And since Norman Reedus, Daryl Dixon is a motorcycle driving rock star himself, a lot of people just assumed like, hey, this would be pretty dope. We should totally get this guy as a Ghost Rider. And I don't think it ended up happening because we ended up having him as Null, this character. So let's go ahead and get to it. Oops. My creator, of course. So these are all captured symbiotes. They're being held in like a UV light fixture. It's got to be like heat orientated or whatnot for it to be like because they're really against like fire and high heat. So this guy is the one thing that trips me out because this is a Sony film, but you all know that he does play Baron Mordo in the Doctor Strange series. So I don't know how they're going to be like, here are two characters. This guy is like, he didn't even try to change his hat or like change his hair or like his appearance to look like a different person. He literally just looks like the same guy. So, and then this is one of the other things. Yeah. And there he is. There is Null, the symbiote god. Again, Null is this character in the comics that is the overarching symbiote god for the Venom characters. He is by far, yeah, he would be very similar to the way that they brought in all those like cosmic characters in the Thor story. In fact, talking about Thor, the sword that Gore the God Butcher uses in that series is created by this person. And that is the same sword that was used to cut the head off the giant robot or Celestial in the comics and the movies too, of the head that's called Nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. So you could tell where like all the pieces are there for this character to be available in the series. So them introducing them in the Sony universe, man, I think that's so nuts. I think that's so bonkers. And it's not the fact, I just don't think fucking Sony is gonna drop the ball so bad in this. So let me get this done real quick and I'll be right back to it. But yeah, let me go ahead and play this for you guys and we can get right back to it. So yeah. I think they say his name too. Yeah, there you go. What's his name? No. So does he say it? Yeah, no. Okay, so Null in the comic books is what we call the King in Black, right? The King in Black, meaning that he is the overarching creator and controller of the symbiotes throughout the entire universe. In fact, what's crazy is there is a theory that, I guess, like biblically, right? Biblically, there is the concept of, uh, like in the Bible, in the first like couple of books in Genesis, it says like in the beginning there was darkness, and then light appeared and pushed darkness away. Apparently, that darkness was either, what was it? It was either like the hand. There's like this thing that's like the hand in the Marvel universe. That's like the previous universe. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but and the other thing is that it was Null, the god, his giant planet just based on symbiotes. That's just a big collaboration of a bunch of Venom symbiotes that are there. That was one of the creations that was there in the beginning. So Null, like I said, there is a recent comic book called The King in Black that came out in 2022 or 2021. And what it was Null the Conqueror had been brought back, not back, but he had been awakened by the Venom and the Carnage symbiote because they were looking for things called like codexes or something, right? And codexes were parts of the symbiote suits that were left on human beings. But for them to reach the codex, for them to reach Null, Carnage was going around killing all the people that had previously been Venoms, or at least some of them, and he was taking the spinal fluid out of the person. Of course, perfect character to have a thing like that where it's like murdering people and removing body parts and spinal fluid. You never hear about this like in the Marvel universe in general. You would need to give it to someone that was like a serial killer, and Cletus Cassidy is like the best one. So he, being the Carnage character, was taking all of these codexes, applying them to himself, and that was slowly getting the attention of Null, the symbiote god, and letting people know that somewhere out there someone was becoming stronger. And of course, Venom was dealing with his own stuff where he was trying to save people, including like his ex-girlfriend or something from that series that had the Venom outfit had on, just like in the second film when the girlfriend dons the costume by accident. And she goes back to Eddie Brock and she doesn't die or nothing like that. But like that means in that situation, that character would be a target for Null or Carnage for them to go and get the codex from her. So he goes out and tries to protect some of them. But the other one is Eddie Brock's son. Eddie Brock's son is another character that had had a Venom outfit on, which, if I'm not mistaken, there is a child that's in this series. And it's kind of weird because earlier documentation of that child was that it was going to be Peter Parker as a young kid, and Venom was going to be like a mentor to him in a way, but a bad mentor because he's like the drunk uncle that no one listens to but wants to be like Heart of Gold or whatever. But I actually think that it's going to be his son. I think it's going to be his son. I think that, he had a kid and he didn't know, and the chick is going to come back. It's several years after the second film, and she's going to come back and tell him straight up like, oh yeah, well, we have a kid. This is your son. And he's going to be like, Venom is probably going to give him like a little bit of it, or in some way like take over. So we may have like a part of the video very much like the Deadpool movie where we get like a kid Venom and he's jumping around doing a bunch of crazy thing, and then he comes off of him or whatever, the Venom stuff. But there is a part where the child of Venom with the symbiote ends up becoming this overarching character that is able to defeat Null, because Null is once Eddie Brock and his son have the potential to destroy him and become the new King in Black, which Eddie Brock does, and his son ends up becoming like the new Venom on the planet. And then Carnage is out there trying to take the codexes to become the new Null, but nobody wants that because he's a psychopath. And then Null himself is just like, yo, you guys can come and get that smoke. Like, I'm coming to Earth to beat your asses. And that's pretty much what it is. What's crazy though, what's even better is that and this is just a question to anybody that's out there watching, like, where do you see Null being like a bigger character in the Marvel universe? Because this guy's huge in the comics. And right now we do know that there is like a 2-year gap, which I keep reminiscing to from when we got D23 and the announcement of Secret Wars and Doom World or whatever, or Doom Wars or whatever. that we only have like a 2-year gap between now and then for them to close up, to create the webbing, and to get all of the different stories that Marvel and Disney has placed in Phase 4, to get them to kind of collab together again, like to get them to kind of, because none of them feel, other than like I guess Agatha and Wanda, none of them are really making any sense with each other for the overarching story of them going into a Doom world or Battle Wars, right? But Null is a huge character. Like he's huge. And in fact, like there's one part that really makes me really excited about Null that from another story, which is we do have the Thunderbolts film that is coming out. And recently there was some extra footage that was dropped at I want to say like another investment Disney thing where they kind of showed some extra stuff for the Thunderbolts asterisk at the end of it, which is even crazier. We're going to talk about that too. And they introduced in the character Robert, which they call him Bob. And Bob is this character that's like in a what is it, like a secret lab? He looks like he's wearing like a fucking like the blue suit from the science labs and shit, like they've been working on him. And he comes out and the Thunderbolts kind of aim their guns at him. They're like, "Who are you?" And he's like, I'm Bob." And they're like, "Bob? Who the fuck is Bob?" And then all of a sudden, like the cops come in and they're kind of confused because it's like this, scraggly little white dude that no one really cares about. And then all of a sudden, like all the guards from the factory come in and they start shooting him and all the bullets are falling off him. And then I'm guessing what we're going to get is a really cool intro to the Sentry, right? And the Sentry, you've heard us talk about him before. He is one of the Superman antithesis in the Marvel universe. But the crazy thing is he's a psychopath. He has split personality with a interdimensional cosmic being known as the Void, who is very, very evil and does not care for humanity nor the planet or anything like that. And he sits inside Robert Reynolds. So if Robert Reynolds, Bob in the series, if he loses control, the Void takes over and he'll wipe out the entire Marvel multiverse through and through, the whole thing. So what's really, really cool about that character is one of the major parts in the books that he's done is he's done three or four major roles in his series where people write him correctly. One of them was where he fights Owen Reese, which gives him this like atomic level character. Like he can kind of like compete with a dude that can break reality. And he's not really affected by it. So he's pretty strong, man. Actually, as a matter of fact, like this is what he looks like. He looks like this dude. This is a Sentry. This is what we're gonna get right here, guys. This dude. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, he fights Owen Reese, which is the Molecule Man, which I've talked about before a million times. He's very much on par with the Beyonder. The other thing was there's a series called Siege, and in Siege he fights Ares, the god of war, who is this other team's version of Thor because he happens to be like hyper strong mythological character, very much like the Hulk. And, he's very formidable at combat. And the Sentry fucking swoops right in and grabs him and flies him up like right above the war and just rips him in half or tears his head off. And then the other one was in one of the fight scenes. I don't even know when that one was. I want to say it's like Civil War or something like that. The Sentry flies right in and grabs Carnage. And this is the one that means more. He grabs Carnage, the symbiote, flies him into outer space, like into space, and just tears him in half. And there's this huge comic panel of the situation when he tears him in half. Well, the first time Null comes to Earth, he does the exact same thing to the Sentry. And the Sentry, like I said, is one of the strongest. He practically fought Worldbreaker Hulk, which if you guys are comic book fans, Worldbreaker Hulk is the strongest version of the Hulk in the comic books. He fights that version to a Hulk to a standstill by punching each other in the face. Like he ends up kind of like punching him back into a human being, which is wild to think of. Wild. So, the Sentry is a formidable character. And the first thing that Null, the symbiote god, does is when this dude shows up and tries to, Superman bulk the chest up on him, he just grabs him and tears him in half the same way he did Carnage because he remembers him through living his life through the symbiotes, how they're all connected. So that this character is going to be, he's going to be in a lot of places, not just this film. And I know that if I'm not mistaken, this past week or maybe the week before, Sony and Marvel did a new deal for Spider-Man. And we talked about this. I predicted this like years ago with the guys when we were talking about Home No Way Home or whatever, and then the second Venom movie. Is sooner or later Sony and Marvel were going to have a sit down because they're going to want to bring Venom into the Marvel universe. And now we're getting details up to what is the next Spider-Man film. And apparently, if I'm not mistaken, I would look this up, but I'm still in the middle of the trailer, right? Um, play. I'm gonna just drop the volume down. Um, the next film is gonna be titled King in Black, which is gonna be Spider-Man 4, King in Black. This one is, I don't even know, Last Dance or whatever. But that means that more than likely, this is going to end on a very, very Thanos kind of thing, right? And what do I mean by that? Is that they're going to introduce Null. Null is going to be kind of intrigued at the things that he's hearing about this symbiote and this human and everything else that's going on the planet and how he's infecting a lot of people. And it's like he's expanding and becoming stronger and whatnot, and he's able to destroy some of these characters. And at the ending of the film is when we're going to get that that Thanos at the ending of the Avengers story, where he ends up acknowledging that he's interested in this planet and he wants to come through and conquer it or whatever. That one, I think that's going to be Eddie Brock's son or his stepson, or I don't know, man. It's got to be a son for him to be connected to the symbiote. But yeah, there's a huge part of me that believes that this is either going to be like, there was the Bucky reference, the Captain America, I'm with you to the end or whatever. There's a part of me that thinks that at the ending of this story, Venom is going to choose to leave with the symbiotes back to the original planet. And it sounds weird. I know it's really probably far-fetched. But then Brock is going to go around and look for the existing pieces of the Venom stuff that have been left behind. And then that's where we're going to get to Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Which was the Venom piece that was left behind. The character in the beginning of this one captured it in the little tube or whatever, stating that either this multiverse of Venom, that this Venom, you see, it doesn't make sense, dude. It's so hard to do because of the way that they did at the end of that movie. That Eddie Brock is a part of that universe in some way. If not, then he has to make his way back with his Doctor Strange, or even the factor of them running in King in Black. We get like a really cool like tip of the hat for a multiversal Spider-Man story, introducing Venom in that story, right? Okay, Wonder Guy, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you for jumping in the YouTube section. Says, maybe the Last Dance means Last Dance in the Sony universe. But you see, that's kind of interesting, right? Because we did hear last week, I was just talking about this, that they did a new deal. Sony and Marvel did a new deal. And they had to do this because the only way that they were going to introduce Venom into the Marvel universe, like the way they did Tom Holland, is that they were going to have to revamp the original contract to add both of them in. And then for Sony to get residuals or like toy builds or some way. Because we know that the story was Sony was going to be able to make their own films. Kevin Feige was going to sit in the production seat and the seat that kind of like, what is it? Like kind of like connects them back to the Marvel universe, excluding like the fucking, like Madam Web or any of the other weird ass movies they're making. What's the other guy that they're doing recently? I don't even, the Hunter, Craven the Hunter. Yeah. Like even those don't really have to correlate back, but, yeah, my theory is, how is it that they're going to introduce this Eddie Brock after the stuff from the multiverse and the incursions and all that stuff? How are they going to bring this one into the Spider-Man universe? And my theory is, we're more than likely, and it's going to be sucky to say, we're probably not going to get a live action version of Miles Morales. If we do, he would have to be in one of the Spider-Man films coming up as a young kid. But if we're going into Secret Wars, we know we're probably going to have, they have to do the Tom Holland Venom outfit, right? I mean, I'm just guessing. They have to, because that's one of the most iconic things in the original Secret Wars was when Spider-Man gets the black uniform. But you can't have that unless you have the Venom outfit or you do like the black outfit just by accident, the way they did in the original one, where it's not really a Venom symbiote or anything. It just enhances. Or you substitute the Miles Morales character in Secret Wars for a Spider-Man Venom buddy cop meetup, and then it's them. So like when they meet Owen Reese in the Doctor Doom in the White Room or in the hot room that he's in Secret Wars, it's going to be Venom, this one, and Tom Holland Spider-Man that meet him in that room, and then like Venom will give him a cheeseburger and all this stuff. So it would be, I mean, it can work. I mean, the Miles Morales character isn't like hyper important in the Secret Wars story. He's like a supporting character to Spider-Man in the overarching story. So, but it was just their ways of trying to like save that character to bring into the all new, all different. So, yeah, it's very difficult as to where the Venom character lies into Secret Wars, because it'd be pretty cool. Like if you've read the comic book, if you've read the Secret Wars series, we know that like Doctor Doom, King Doom, God Doom, whatever you want to call him, has all of these generals that are all based of all the different like big villain characters that are all like team villains that teams have to fight. So you'll see like Apocalypse or Mr. Sinister or Madam Pryor, or you'll see a bunch of different characters that are all a part of it. So it would be really cool. It'd be really, really cool. That's how they get that, how they bring in Null the symbiote god, because we know that they're going to do the King in Black for the Spider-Man 4 film. But where does he go from there? Like, do they stop him? Like, does Eddie Brock become the new King in Black? And then they bring in that whole entire weird multiversal Venomverse kind of thing? Or even if we do, like, do we get a Venomverse in the next one instead of the multiverse, the Spider-Verse, because that's already the IP they're using for the cartoon? Are they going to make that the Venomverse now? Which would be interesting, I guess. Yeah, it would be kind of weird, but yeah, like I said, Null the Symbiote God is such an interesting villain for Kevin Feige to allow Sony to mess with the Symbiote God Null. Man, dude, they're really giving these guys a lot of like hope as to them not ruining a character. But yeah, as much as we're scared of Sony ruining Null, I was taken on how Marvel ended up using Gore the God Butcher, so it's not too far-fetched on that either. So yeah, that's pretty wild. But yeah, where do you guys see it in the sense of the Venom the Last Dance film and the concept of Null the god, the symbiote god? Wonder Guy from YouTube says, what if Eddie dies in the movies, and after Eddie finds a way to the MCU, so Venom looks for Spider-Man, which leads him to Spider-Man 4? But what happened? Okay, so like what you're saying is like, what if he dies in the movie, and then after that he finds a way into MCU? But are you saying that when he dies, he will be like in some way like teleported into the new universe, or like rebirthed into the new universe? Because what I was thinking is, I mean, what if like I'll just throw this out there, like in the sense of like a theory, like a weird wild theory. What if the Null story, being that Null, what's crazy about Null is his character sits outside of the multiverse. The character itself is multiversal no matter what. And that's where it was in the sense of like the Null symbiote gods were, that's the whole concept of, I don't know if you remember or if you had heard the theory at the end of the thing. That's why that piece of the Venom outfit stayed in the Spider-Man universe, because it's multiversal and it's not affected by dimensional breaches and stuff. That's why it was able to stay, and all the other characters got taken back to their original universes in the Spider-Man film. That's why that stayed behind. But yeah, and then we saw that like, in this film it gets picked up, so we're guessing that that's going to be the Venom piece that ends up hooking onto Spider-Man in some way. I mean, he may end up even getting like the Venom symbiote outfit from this film into that one later on in his film, so that's how he even becomes a Venom character or whatnot. But I'm really hoping that we get the Venom character Spider-Man, like the Venom suit Spider-Man in Secret Wars. Like I'm hoping that we get that, because that's a really big iconic scene in the comic books. But yeah, I kind of feel like it's going to be more in the sense of the way it was with Doctor Strange, where he's going to get teleported into the universe with Tom Holland, and he's not going to be affected by it because he's a part of Null and he's a part of the symbiotes already. So being in the multiverse, like it's not going to affect him at all. He can transfer between multiverses without an incursion incurring. I've never said that before, but yeah, without an incursion happening. So he should be okay to jump into a multiverse. So maybe like in some weird way, the Venom symbiote gives him the opportunities to be able to jump through multiverses. And then we did see, like in the first Venom movie, that he was interested in the Spider-Man character to begin with, in the post-credit scene or whatever. So just interesting stuff overall for the Venom character. I'm really excited that they're finally getting the deal done so that way they can bring him into the MCU. Super excited what they're going to do. Kind of iffy on how they're going to allow Sony to run Null, the symbiote god, right now, because sooner or later, like I said, he will make his entrance into the MCU. And knowing that he's that big, is he should be like another Thanos, even almost bigger than a Thanos threat character. But the way that they handled Gore the God Butcher was really, really sad and sorry and pathetic in the sense of a villain. So I just don't want them, I don't want his character to fall into that. I want them to kind of like bring out that Null, the symbiote god story. And then maybe that story end up bringing us into like a world ending scenario, which then takes us into the Doom world, right? Because of course we still have like the Captain America film. We're hoping that we get some type of like Spider-Man entrance in something soon. But yeah, very, very interesting stuff. I think the Venom thing and the Spider-Man stuff, it's super cool right now. I think it's super exciting to hear that they're going to be kind of like bringing him in the MCU, and I'm just really excited what they're going to do with him and Null, the symbiote god, man. That'd be so dope. But yeah, what do you guys think? What are you guys excited for when it comes to this? If you guys are, let me know in the comment section. Oh yeah, speaking of that, what's really crazy. So again, Siege is something. I think we were talking about this right now. Siege is a comic book that you end up getting an introduction of a whole new team of Avengers. They're called the Dark Avengers. And what's crazy is around the time that they released the information for the Null symbiote god coming out in Spider-Man 4 and the Spider-Man contracts that they're doing right now, they introduced and they brought in some information about the Thunderbolts film that's going to be coming out. This has been kind of like in the makings for years. It's been a lot of rewrites and a lot of remakes and a lot of stuff that they've done in and out. Stephen Yeun was originally connected to this project, and then he left because of contriving situations with other films that he was working on. But yeah, they ended up bringing in a whole new guy that's going to be playing the character of the Sentry. They already have video of him, which is very, very cool. Not as a Sentry, but as the Bob character, like I said. But the Thunderbolts, right? The Thunderbolts is always like, you could kind of consider it as the Suicide Squad. I hope you guys can read. The Suicide Squad of the Marvel Universe, consisting of Bucky, the Winter Soldier, Elena Belovovich, who is Black Widow, the Red Guardian, who is like their muscle guy in it, Ghost from Ant-Man 2, which is the girl that's kind of like shifting between dimensions, and Taskmaster. Taskmaster, of course, was in Black Widow also. So all of these characters are part of this team. They want to lower their time in prison or kind of give themselves an opportunity to be released. And in that situation, the Amanda Waller, I'm not really sure who's going to run the team, comes out, gives them an opportunity, tells them that they have to go and take out or capture this dude, the Bob character. And when they get there, it's kind of like, what the heck? He's just a normal guy in a fucking nursing outfit. Like, why do we got to kill this guy? He seems like a nerd. Only to fucking find out later that he ends up being like a very uncontrollable kind of like psychopathic version of Superman, which is very much like the Suicide Squad video game that came out recently, but was done very much pretty badly, which was not good. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the Thunderbolts, because eventually, if they do find a way to stop the Sentry, or at least to find a way to control him or get him in a controlled situation, that then gives us the idea that Valentina, which was the character from the Black Widow film, Black Panther, the second one, that was with the Shield guys or the FBI or CIA, that character, she's in charge of the Thunderbolts. She gets this team together that's supposed to be like the new Avengers, and they end up making, with the Sentry as a teammate, the Dark Avengers. And I think what's going to happen from there is they're going to go after Asgard, which is economically probably one of the biggest growing communities and all this other stuff. And they want to take it over. And I'm not sure why yet, but they want to take it over. Eventually they end up Yeah, it'll end up hopefully being from the Thunderbolts to the next part two being the Dark Avengers to being Siege. And again, I don't know how they get all three of these movies out between the next 2 years before Doom World or whatnot, but yeah, that could be some really really exciting stuff too, because then you'll see the Sentry go off into those characters also. So, um, yeah, really excited for what's going on and everything in the Marvel universe. I like to be able to piece all of these together all the way until the Secret Wars comic. The Doom World, I'm still kind of confused as to what they're going to do with Robert Downey Jr.'s character in the Doom story. I think, yo, what's up, Derpy? Good to see you, man. I'm running it today by myself, baby. I'm in an hour and 17 minutes. Not too bad. Good to see you, man. Right now, just talking about the King in Black and where it's going to go and how the Thunderbolts series, I think, is going to go from the Thunderbolts to with a asterisk. If you see the title, it's then going to change into the new Dark Avengers, including the Sentry character as their Hulk Superman character that's going to be in their team, which will eventually lead into Siege. And like I said, Siege is going to be them after going after maybe Asgard, since it's becoming more of an Asgardian type place with a lot of the soldiers and the hammer and that badass little statue and all that stuff. And then into, like I said, Siege. So Siege would be a great story to see with the Sentry coming in and like just fucking like Swiss cheese in a whole ass like Asgard that's floating in space or whatever. Just some interesting stuff that's going on with the introduction of like Null and the Venom story, and then the new Spider-Man contract that just got written out. But yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully I'll be able to do this with the guys when they come back. I'm only gonna run this for a little bit longer. I'm probably gonna already call it to a close. It's been doing it for like an hour 18. So yeah, I really don't have much to talk about after that. I recently celebrated my birthday and got a special shirt. What'd you get? What kind of shirt did you get? That'd be really dope. That's super cool. So yeah, well, happy belated birthday, man. I hope that you had a great birthday, Derpy. I hope that, many blessings and all that good stuff. So I hope that went really well. But yeah, Derpy and anybody else that's out in the comment sections, I want to ask as the final thing, what are you excited for when it comes to the Venomverse and everything that they're going on? Superman 2025? Dope. That's awesome. That's good. I'm excited for what's his name, James Gunn's Superman and all this stuff. So hopefully it works out really well. But yeah, there was a really cool picture. We'll talk about it next week when the guys come back and stuff like that. But yeah, my final question to you guys is, what are you guys most excited for with the introduction of Null, the God, the King in Black coming to the Sony universe and into the Marvel universe? And how do you feel about Tom Hardy's Venom being introduced into the MCU alongside Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Are you excited to see them team up? Are you excited to see them on where they're going to go? Yeah. And I'm really excited to hear from you guys. Also, thank you guys for tuning in with me on this show. I know I'm by myself. I know I may not be the most entertaining guy when it comes to me by myself, but doing my best to give you guys as much information as we can as we go on into our Nerd Week. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every one of you. To all our extraordinary listeners that came in and jumped in on the show, we appreciate every one of you. We hope you guys have a great week. And next week, hopefully the boys come on, Brian and Trigger. And of course, I want to bring on Michael Betancourt and I want to talk to him. He just recently released a book. That'd be really, really dope. So we could talk to him about it, but I want to say thank you guys very much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your week here at the Average Boys Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit us up on all the social media stuff, on all the podcasting and all that stuff. And we'll see you guys again here next Sunday night on the Average Boys Podcast. We appreciate every one of you. Have a good week. Be strong and be safe. And we'll see you guys next Sunday. Laters.